Medical gaslighting is a common problem. Unfortunately, this happens way too frequently. What medical gaslighting is making a person feel stupid or questioning themselves when you have a sincere question. This actually happened to me many years ago, and this should not happen to me. But I caught a condition 5 years ago, and you know what it is, and I asked a question regarding some treatment, and the urgent care practitioner, we'll call it a practitioner, it wasn't a doctor, it was a physician assistant, I believe, did one of these and said, "Are you serious? Where'd you read that on the internet?" That was the response I got when I asked about a natural treatment. Or it wasn't even a natural treatment. It was a treatment that was becoming popular. Joe Rogan talked to Sanjay Gupta about it and really put that guy on the spot regarding it. I don't want to say what it was, because this algorithm thing on the YouTube can demonetize and take your videos off if you say certain words. But if you're smart, you know what I'm talking about. That was gaslighting, by the way. So it happens to me. It happened to me. More often it happens to older people. Doctors and healthcare providers very often have to take a step back and try to remember that the average person didn't study what they studied. You know, I've been in practice for 29 years, so to me, a lot of this stuff that I'm doing is just second nature. And after a while, you start thinking that everybody calls it a patella. Nobody calls it a kneecap. But you forget that people don't know what a patella is. It's the kneecap, by the way, but you have to call it a kneecap. And sometimes I find that doctors will speak above you and will talk as if you knew what they were, you had their knowledge. And when you don't have their knowledge and you ask a question that's probably extremely reasonable because you have a concern, you're looked at as stupid, or they'll say things that will make you question things. One of the most common things that a doctor can say to you is, "Where did you get that?" Probably on the internet. Or they'll make jokes about Dr. Google. And after a while, you have to understand from the doctor's point of view, imagine seeing 30 people a day and people reading stuff on the internet that's just all over the place. And you get kind of tired of it. But that's their job, is to answer questions and take care of people. One of the greatest honors is to help people in need. But very often when they start to gaslight you and make you feel as though there's something wrong with you, then it becomes insulting. So what are some steps to protect yourself from gaslighting? The first is to recognize that it's being done, and to not be a jerk about it, but to just say, "Doctor, I don't understand. Explain it to me like I'm not a doctor." The old saying was, "Explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old." But again, that's kind of derogatory, isn't it? Explain it to me like I'm not a doctor. That would be step one. So if someone is using too big of words, don't be shy about saying, "I don't understand what you just said. Can you explain it to me like I'm not a doctor?" And the second option or plan of not being gaslit is to realize that it's not the doctor up here and you're down here. Doctors used to think of themselves as gods, right? And you're just a peon. No, you are in charge The doctor is there to help you, and he's the servant. That's how you have to think about it. So if they're not supplying you with the things that you need to not put up with it. I've noticed that only in medicine does this really happen. You know, you don't go to any other profession and think that they're above you. If you're going to, if I go to a bike shop or to buy a car, the person who is there is supposed to help me figure out what's in the car, what I'm purchasing, and is supposed to help you make the best decision. They're not the superior, you're the superior. If there was one, you're the one in charge. You're the one paying the money for the car or the bicycle or whatever. And if some bicycle shop or an auto dealership is treating you rudely or making you feel stupid, then go somewhere else, you know? If you go to a bike shop and you say, what's the difference between the Tarmac and the Roubaix in terms of the bicycle? And the person at the bike shop goes, don't you know? Don't buy the bike, go somewhere else. Unfortunately, in healthcare, depending on where you live in the world, there may not be that many options. And that's a problem. And that's why they have the ability to gaslight you, because you have no other choice. The third thing that you could do to prevent gaslighting is to read up on the options before you get to the doctor's office. And what I appreciate from patients is when they come in with knowledge of things and they ask for me to help them direct how to discern, is this good information I'm reading on the internet or not? So going in with a lot of knowledge is a much better solution and will prevent you from being gaslit. So let's talk about blood pressure for a second. This is a product that I've been taking for a long time called nitric oxide flow. This is the video sponsor. It has L-arginine, L-citrulline. It helps your blood pressure. I'll tell you what, you want to get more blood flow into your body, dilate the blood vessels. So this is something that you can take. I recommend it. I'll put a link down below if you want to see what it is. What I would do if I were you is don't take my word for it. I'm just a dude on the internet telling you to look at a product. Read all the Amazon comments and reviews of people that have been verified users of this type of thing. L-arginine and L-citrulline, just to let you know, are some amino acids that help with dilation of blood vessels, very simply. And if you dilate the blood vessels, if you relax the blood vessels, blood pressure goes down to a normal level. It just supports normal blood pressure. So click the link down below in the description. And then if you'd like to learn more about how to naturally lower your blood pressure, click this video right here.